Pavan's got such good posture. I thought it was supposed to be relaxed in here.
What's your first impression of Brett?
You really want me to ask that question? Generally petrified.
Surface, right from the very beginning, we are there to help show what is possible from an experience perspective and to lead the way for the ecosystem. And that was true for Touch originally, for Windows Hello.
How many cups of coffee do you each drink a day?
I stopped counting at about 4. 4 or 5. Hello, I'm Pavan. I lead the Windows and Devices team here at Microsoft. Welcome to Inside Windows, our podcast designed to give you insight into the work and the people behind Windows and devices. Our format for the show is simple. I sit down with someone from the team, we drink some coffee, and we share what's top of mind and the progress we're making together. And we also answer questions sourced directly from the community thanks to the help of our Windows Social team. Let's get into it. Our guest today is Brett Ostrum. Brett leads Surface. Brett's been a huge year for the Surface team, and we're only halfway through the year. I think our team is collectively heads down on what is the broadest push we've had in Surface for a while.
For sure.
And a lot really has come together in the last couple of months. So we thought it would be kind of fun for us to bring folks a little bit behind the curtain, give them a feel for the work that's happening across the board and how the collective development and product teams are bringing all of this magic to life in Surface.
All right.
How about we just start with a quick introduction, tell us a little bit about your journey at Microsoft and leadership in the Surface world, and we'll jump in from there.
For sure. I started in the mouse group in the late 90s. I've been shipping hardware at Microsoft my entire career.
For a while, yep.
So mouse in the late 90s, that became mouse and keyboard, then the entire PC hardware portfolio.
Yep.
And then in 2010, was part of the team that started Surface. So have been on this journey since the very, very beginning with a couple of devices when we started, and it's hard to count the number of devices that we have shipped this year. And so it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and it's
super exciting.
It's been a blast the entire time.
That's excellent to hear, Brett. So it's been a busy couple of months for the Surface team, Brett.
Yes, for sure.
We started with a lineup for Surface for Business,
Mm-hmm.
our broadest push across the enterprise space, a bunch of really exciting new features like the ePrivacy screen that was, I think, really well received with customers when we previewed it. The second big step, of course, was Computex and Build, where we unveiled Surface Laptop Ultra, the most powerful Surface laptop we've ever built.
For sure.
And of course, the Surface RTX Spark DevBox, our point of view for what local AI can look like for developers, which I think was really exciting as well. And then the Surface team went on to our next generation of Surface Laptop and Surface Pro devices, next generation Snapdragon devices, amazing experiences. Would love to hear from your vantage point and your perspective, kind of what is your top line view for the work that's happened for the last couple of months, and how do you think about the rest of the year, and what are you most excited about?
For sure. I think the first thing for us is the number of both devices and platforms that we have been able to deliver over the last several months with Qualcomm, NVIDIA, and Intel all showing up.
Yep.
And for us, that is both about helping to bring new platforms online, but it's also about making sure that Surface shows up in a compelling way. And at the same time, trying to help be a vehicle to tell stories that we have out there that help to show what Windows is up to as well.
That's such a great point. But one of the experiences that I was really excited about was the advanced haptics work.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful example of us building, like you have to have a hardware embodiment for the feature.
Yep.
Like an OS platform and an experience that takes advantage of it.
And it is an absolute delighter. So we were with press in New York ahead of the business launch. We were with press analysts and influencers in Taipei for Computex.
That's right. Yep.
And when we launched our Snapdragon devices, advanced haptics shows up in every one of those. And when somebody puts their hands on and you just watch their face light up when they feel it snap to, or it gives them that subtle feedback of they're grabbing onto the frame of a video, it's clear it's a delighter for people out there. So super fun to see, not just for us talking about, but seeing the reaction when they use it.
I feel like absolutely, and from a Windows standpoint, that is hugely powerful for us to be able to learn, experiment, and build experiences.
Yep.
We're able to scale it out across the ecosystem. The other one that had a similar reaction, I felt like at Computex, was the thermal design that you all unveiled for Surface Laptop Ultra.
Yes.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
After Computex, we had a suite where we brought probably 100 plus folks through over a course of several days. And in that suite, we had a lineup of what our design process looked like, kind of start to finish. And it started with a bunch of edge profiles of the device to show the thought that we were giving to how are we going to unlock not just the performance of the most powerful Surface device we've ever shipped, but the most powerful Surface device we've ever shipped that has battery life that lasts all day. And so that the profile of the device has a set of vents along the side underneath the side profile. And those vents both lift the device off the table so that you can bring in air from the sides, but it is also where we send audio out. It's where the speaker ports are to get the audio out. So it gives the device a thin profile, it lets air in, and it lets audio out. We walk through the whole story in terms of performance and what's possible, and the last demo in there is a demo of the thermal solutions. So we have a clear case on the back of the device. We inject smoke, just like you see for airplane wing design or automotive
wind
design.
Tunnels,
wind tunnels, so you can actually see where the airflow is. It was the most frequently recorded demo in the booth as people wanted to take a video of the smoke flowing out the back of the device and through the inside. And so from the very start to the very end, it was about how do we unlock the performance and let it last all day. So super
love
fun
that
to be
example.
able to show the experience.
To me, it embodies this notion of craftsmanship we have in Surface, delivering best-in-class performance and battery life in a beautiful design. Takes that kind of engineering.
With integration all the way through, start to finish.
Remarkable. Okay, Brett, how about we jump into the Surface for Business lineup? The super exciting lineup started out in April. Would love to hear what's top of mind for you in that space, things that stand out for you and our team.
For sure. We have a couple of things that we always are covering. We're always going to talk about speeds and feeds and what is new for those devices. And I think one of the things that really stood out in our Surface for Business devices this year is we compare ourselves oftentimes to how Mac performs. And so relative to MacBook Air M5, our latest devices with the Intel Core Ultra Series 3 processors, 35% faster from a GPU perspective. And so that is a great benchmark for us as we look at it. We also know that from a gen over gen, we are about 60% faster when on battery. And so for a portable device, super important. But in addition to speeds and feeds, integrated ePrivacy screen on the laptop, advanced haptics on those devices, and we continue to tell stories for people on what is possible for AI usage on the edge. And so giving some real world stories and examples for people in terms of what is possible in those scenarios.
One of the beautiful things with the integrated ePrivacy screen is also that it's configurable, correct, Brett?
Yeah, super easy. It is, one button to enable that screen. We've seen some great videos online in terms of real use scenarios and how well it works, and so great to see it being used out there.
It's also been great to watch the Surface team in partnership with Intel, broader Windows team, be able to make sure we were building a great platform and a great set of end user experiences that can scale through Surface across our ecosystem with our partnerships across the board.
And I think over the years that partnership continues to be strong, whether they are working on features going forward or seeing things in one generation and making sure that we're addressing those performance attributes in the next generation.
It's super powerful.
Yeah.
But we also unveiled a new set of Surface Laptop and Surface Pro devices using the next-gen Snapdragon X2 processors. We had a beautifully new color in jade. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that product line.
For sure. As you would expect, we have improvements in battery life and performance. And for the Snapdragon devices, the first generation of those, they were acclaimed for us in terms of the performance.
That's right.
And over again, people would tell us how much they appreciated the battery life. So we've made improvements on both of those aspects. The thing that I am most proud of for those devices is we spent considerable energy to improve the overall camera experiences. We were near the top of the market in terms of performance before. There's a company called DxO, Mark, that is a third party. They do assessments of camera experiences and quality. Those two devices, laptop and pro, are taking the number 1 and the number 2 spots from a camera quality perspective.
Congratulations to the team on that, Brett.
Apple from those 2 spots. So super proud of the team's work there.
It's great. It's great to see those devices show up in terms of how people use them across both consumer and commercial channels. It is lovely to see the experiences kind of move by way of envelope, for sure.
For sure.
Last but not the least, we unveiled some of our biggest bets that are coming later this year. We talked about the Surface Laptop Ultra.
Yes.
And also the Surface RTX Spark DevBox.
Yes, I think in the history of Surface, I think we've had our CEO engaged in our launch moments 3 times. And so over a course of 2 days, to be able to have Jensen and Satya be part of announcing 2 of our newest devices, the team puts an incredible amount of work into both the devices and the experiences, not just on Surface, but across your entire organization and across the company to bring those experiences and those devices to life. And to have them punctuated by a couple of industry-leading CEOs out there, super fun for the team to be able to see that.
One of the lovely things with those launches is the role that Surface plays in, like you just said, Brett, in pulling the best of Microsoft together and what we can do across industry.
Yeah.
On the Surface Ultra laptop and certainly the dev box as well, one of the things that I found powerful was the partnership between the Surface team, the Windows team, and our partners in GitHub when it comes to thinking about developers and best-in-class coding experiences.
Yeah.
Is there something you'd like to share in that space, Brett?
Well, I think when we try to get in early so that we can bring that platform up and make sure that it's not just the platform and the fundamentals, but the experiences for that end customer all the way through. And from a Surface Laptop Ultra perspective, one of those key customers is developers. And so being able to partner with GitHub all the way through that final experience, absolutely crucial for the work that we do, but also for that customer at the end of the day.
The other place where I found that project and journey being super impactful for us was the work that the Surface team was doing for third-party experiences as well, and making sure we were thinking about great Windows experiences across the ecosystem that were intentional, thoughtful, and well-crafted when it came to Surface Laptop Ultra, for example. Are there any examples when you think about the work in the creator space and in the space of high-performance productivity when it comes to those devices?
Yeah, I think what comes to mind for me is the work that we did with Adobe for Photoshop and Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, Blender. The team goes deep. We establish those relationships and make sure that we're able to deliver on not just the promise, but the execution all the way through.
It's great to see that work across STEM apps, CAD applications, creator apps for sure.
For sure.
Grateful for the work that the Surface team does in that space, Brett. Before we get into community questions, Brett, there's a question that I get a lot.
Yes.
And it's about, what does the future stand for Surface? How do you think about the vision for Surface? What does it represent for Windows and, quite frankly, for Microsoft at large?
For sure. So I think the easy way to talk about it is Surface, right from the very beginning, and this will be true as we go forward, we are there to help show what is possible from an experience perspective in terms of technology and experiences, and help to lead the way for the ecosystem. And that was true for Touch originally, for Windows Hello, for Pen and Ink. And these days, oftentimes it shows up in the form of helping to stand up brand new platforms like the RTX Silicon from NVIDIA. And so I think for us, that work will continue. While we've done multiple announcements this year, we still haven't shipped the Surface Laptop Ultra or the RTX Dev Box. So those are coming. We have a few more surprises coming before the end of the year, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm grateful for the team for all the work that they have done across the devices and the platforms to be able to bring those devices to launch.
That's lovely to
reality
hear.
This year.
It's been a big year for us. I think you're right. We have more coming, and I think the fabric that you described is the kind of work that we do that serves, I think, the world of Windows and the ecosystem is a powerful one, and I think is a framework that serves well as we think about the future of Windows as well. We're now going to transition to a few questions from our community across the board. We have questions here with little cards from the social team, and we're going to jump right into them, Brett.
Excellent.
Surface Laptop Ultra. Since this is an NVIDIA chip, does this mean the thing called DirectX 12 Ultimate will support it? The simple answer is yes. It's part of the Windows platform, and DX will be great on RTX and Surface devices.
Excellent. Let's see. Surface Laptop Ultra. 1, why ARM? And 2, why mini LED? Why ARM? I think at the end of the day, this is about the combination of perf per watt. Why mini LED? This is about display quality and power. And so that it is both cases. It's about performance and power balancing, or performance and power management.
I have a Surface Laptop Ultra question as well, Brett, next. And it's, what models can it run? I think the simple way to think about this is it can run a huge variety of models. And it is intended as a platform that can run models that Microsoft will build. Certainly, models are available in the open ecosystem today, and certainly models are going to come down the capability pipeline. I think the two things that are magical, or several things that are magical about Surface Laptop Ultra in this case, is just the sheer capability of the GPU and what the GPU can run by way of accelerated compute. The memory bandwidth capability of the system and the work done between the Windows team, the Surface team, and the NVIDIA team, of course. And then certainly the capability of the CPU itself. And I think the combination of things will unlock capabilities for a new class of models that will run on these devices.
Excellent.
Next question. Please surprise us with some new peripherals, a new mouse and keyboard, and a new Surface-branded touch display. That would be killer. I agree with the question and the sentiment, Brett, but I feel like this is a question that you have to answer for us.
My history is in mouse and keyboards, and I do believe that the Surface Studio screen is the most beautiful screen we have ever shipped. This one is another one on Surface Laptop Ultra. Okay, did I hear modular? You didn't hear modular, but I will say the device is very repairable. And so whether it is speakers, the battery, an SSD, there are multiple components in there with guidance in terms of how to repair and making it easy for being able to swap your SSD out.
We're going to keep on that Surface Laptop Ultra train of questions, Brett. Next, how is Windows and ARM these days? Is the translation layer as good as NVIDIA's? I think the question is referring to the Prism technology that we built, and our goal when it comes to the platform itself is to essentially start with a native experience and being as great as possible, which to your earlier point on work that we've done across Windows, the platform, our developer ecosystem, key apps, we continue to have great native performance on the system for sure. And then Prism will run great on the RTX platform as it does on the other devices for sure. And I view the work that we're doing on Windows ARM as essentially platform work that just makes Windows great across the board. Whether that's performance, compatibility, ecosystem work across the board, I think we now have that being a part of Windows as broadly as we do pretty much anything else. So.
Fantastic.
Next question, Brett. Can we get the Surface Mini, please? And this one is addressed to me, but I feel like you have to take this question, Brett.
Your Twitter.
I don't know. What do you think, Brett? We've got a few laying around somewhere, I think.
Yeah, we typically don't comment on future-looking Surface roadmaps, Pavan.
Got it. Good to know. Thank you for the reminder, Brett.
Yeah.
We're consistent on a few things, it turns out. All right, next question, Brett. Will Surface Laptop Ultra have pen support? We need something to replace my aging laptop studio. One of the things I will note is, I get quite some mail, and one of the things that I absolutely love is the number of people who talk to me about Surface Laptop Studio and the versatility of that device across different form factors. When I think about answering this question, I think one of the core elements that we had in the design of that product was a flexible hinge that allowed us to bring down the screen itself so folks could write and touch and kind of use it as multimodal input. I think what we found in terms of usage of the product was when it was in laptop mode, the primary modality for the intended audience, creators, developers, was primarily mouse and keyboard and touch. And so I think in terms of our energy, we decided to focus on those being great and less so the actual pen support that we have removed now from Surface Laptop Ultra. And I think it's a pattern that we see across the industry, quite frankly, where the interaction model is a function of the form factor of the device itself.
That's right.
So Brett, as we close each show, we like to talk a little bit about the coffee we've been sipping together and share thoughts on it. This particular blend was something that we chose through one of our moments in October. We were in New York. And we met David at a coffee shop in Brooklyn, in fact. Coffee Check, I think, is the name of his place. And he recommended this cup of coffee. I think it's called Matte Black. At the time, I kind of fell in love with it, and so I thought it was great. We enjoyed the coffee at his place. I took some home, in fact, and I thought you might enjoy it today. So I'm curious to get your thoughts. How would you rate this thing?
I love the name Matte Black. I like a bold, strong, just black coffee. This has a hint of citrus in it. My wife loves just having a little bit of citrus in her coffee in terms of the flavor. For me, I would probably say 7 or 8 because I I'd prefer a little less citrus and a little bit more bold.
Gotcha.
But coffee is like people. Everybody likes a little.
Everybody's got some, and you have a high bar
something
when it comes to
different,
coffee,
yep.
Brett. It's excellent to hear. I think I had it at an 8 or a 9, but for the exact same reason. I think I felt like it had some bold flavors that punched and jumped out at me.
Yeah,
which is
it is tasty for sure.
Thank you, Brett, for being here with us today. That's Inside Windows. We will see you next time.